Iroguro, a Japanese art style that most would consider either oddly fascinating or crudely disturbing. And from what you see, it makes sense as to why people would be disturbed by this art. Well, in general though, it's just a form of art that people would like to express. No one can see harm in an art form, right? On November 15th, 2007, there was a post created on 4chan, created by an anonymous user making a post stating, "Ever wanted to see how Iroguro look alike in the real? This poor girl died just yesterday. Her name was Alex. She was 19 and she died a virgin. So I played with the little dead body of her. She did not complain at all. First of all, I sawed her skull and took out her brain, and then cut her open from chest to Then I put my fingers into her and found that she is a virgin. Wow, that was cool. I played with her with my fingers, and then I took her cherry with the spray can. No blood at all since she was dead. Then I took her eyeballs out and looked for some funny stuff I could do with them. Girl with her own eye in the mouth. Have you ever seen anything like that? Or with the eye? Finally, I get so excited that I f***ed her. It was kind of a strange feeling since she was cold, alright? And her blood and the stuff was all over, but I c***ed in just a few minutes. I was all laughing inside when I gave her body to her parents. She was all cleaned and with makeup just like alive. They were just stunned by her death. Such a tragedy. And I was all laughing inside since I know that this little baby will to the grave with be full of ha 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 ha. This post was linked with several images of a woman apparently named Alex being used in sexual ways while lying on an autopsy table cut open from neck to groin, with images of the man being inappropriate with his fingers to the deceased woman's genitalia, as well having put the woman's eyeball in her own mouth, sticking a surgical needle in her nipple, and shoving supposedly a spray can in the woman's genitalia. The images are rather sickening to see, but I guess it wasn't that sickening at all to the 4chan users under this forum, as many made jokes and did not take the anon poster as seriously as they should. Seeing this entire forum left me shocked, but determined to find an answer, and back amid searching these photos have sent me to many different websites and potential origins to this entire post, as Dissected-Chan has been a mystery for over a decade. The first website I must talk about is watchpeopledie.tv. This website comes off as a forum page based completely on shock content, built in a kind of a way Reddit's formatted, where there is a post created by a user, Purist Luna, stating, "Infamous Dissected-Chan photos, not sure about the flare. Long story short, David Fuller was a convicted English murderer and he was a maintenance man at a hospital in the UK and is said to have over 100 victims of Inspired by his work, an anonymous user, to my knowledge, posted these photos of a 19-year-old woman named Alex, or also known as Dissected-Chan. Along with this, a copypasta can be read with this post as followed. To give context, David Fuller is a UK murderer necrophile, claiming David Fuller is the creator of these images, while linking no proof to the potential possibility David even was involved with Alex. The only way they feel he did it was because his crime is specific, involving dead bodies in a sexual crime that happens to be on an autopsy table, but doing research on David Fuller's victims, Alex and even Kelly, another name the OP said was her name, was never mentioned in interrogation or even in articles, let alone the photos we are seeing, which makes more of a mystery to this poor female. Nobody actually knows her name, and let alone how she even ended up on this table and in these photos. And the big fact that the OP is giving two different names kinda makes this entire post just comes off as a copy pasta. While yes, from what I have seen as in research, David Fuller did have hard drives found in his residence, with immoral, disturbing images and photos stored inside of them. But what is in those hard drives lies as a complete mystery, as there are no photos anywhere on the internet as to what his crimes may have consisted of, most likely due to it being actual evidence of a crime. Meaning David Fuller being the culprit of Alex is completely a conspiracy. But there's one article that leaves me with the possible answer to where Dissected-Chan truly came from. There is a website known as Encyclopedia Dramatica, a media wiki-based website mostly archiving 4chan's trolling and controversial history, having Dissected-Chan's entire origin on 4chan archived, where you can see the original posts of the anonymous user, and even the other users' mostly grotesque responses. Scrolling down to the bottom of the website is where you are provided the images that were in the original 4chan post. And back amid searching one of the many images is where you find an article originated in China. You may have seen many specimens, but have you ever seen a human one? Be brave and take a look. Von Hagen's is a company that specializes in plastination. They dissect and dehydrate and shape corpses into human specimens for permanent preservation. Imagine that this series of operations is strange and terrifying. After that, the prepared specimens will be exhibited for people to appreciate. This article at the start comes off as a rather normal article, explaining the professions of Von Hagen's company that specializes in dissecting and dehydrating corpses, to then preserve and create human specimens. Looking at most of the images from the article, it is mostly normal, just people working together in order to proceed with their workings, and the odd creations that are displayed for people to see. But one photo caught me off guard, and the context behind it may just be what Dissected-Chan truly has come from. Two men in plastic work clothes came over and opened the metal cover. The box was filled with gray-black liquid. Two objects wrapped in white cloth were floating inside. "This is the body," said a staff member. "This one is too damn heavy. It must be thick. The white packages does not reveal a human figure." The staff said that these are original specimens, which must be first perfused with 20% formalin, and then placed in a formalin vacuum package for at least 4 months before they can be dissected or transported. The bodies here are all donated by German volunteers and imported from aboard after a strict inspection by the General Administration of Quality Supervision, Inspection and Quarantine, and the Liaoning Inspection and Quarantine Bureau. The photo of the woman on the table is actually the first image linked to the 4chan post from over a decade ago. Now, the odds of the image being theirs is always a question, but where would they get this image from? The Encyclopedia Dramatica explains these images were quickly traced to a website called Giro-chan, a forum-like website mostly focusing on the Iro art, which probably explains why the start of the post even mentions Iro, meaning it could be from the same anonymous poster from 4chan, because at the time this post was posted, it was 5 minutes after the Giro-chan post was posted. Since both posts were just minutes apart, it's why it was so easy for certain 4chan users to find the origin of the anonymous post at the time, quickly closing the case that this is obviously a copy-pasta post. But like I said, this could mean this post is actually the same person, posting on both websites just to freak people out. That was very quickly deleted by moderation, which is why these images are so hard to find a backtrace. Closing the fact it could either be from one person or another still doesn't answer why this article used this photo, unless it was taken by employees or press workers themselves, which can truly leave me to only one conclusion. Von Hagen's already has scandals with using corpses that are identified, which maybe is why this person is so hard to find, and probably worth considering these articles come out around the time this article came out, and just maybe why the English is so broken in the first original 4chan post, because they could originate from China. In looking at the photos, the Dissected-Chan photos were taken in an obvious work area, with an actual autopsy table in the imagery, with drains on the floor to drain excess blood, and surgical gloves and other bodies waiting to be tampered with surgical needles in places they shouldn't be. But looking at the list of photos the anonymous 4chan user posted, there are two different angles of the exact same photo. And looking at the normal article, they only use the one photo. The only guess that I could come to, while this random individual has taken photos we know is Dissected-Chan, just maybe, after years of being desensitized by corpses, they took photos they saw funny and posted it to 4chan and Gyro-chan to freak people out for fun. After being deleted, they probably didn't think anything would happen, and gave the photo to the Chinese press to make this article, not thinking this photo could be backtraced to the 4chan post 11 years after his 4chan post was deleted. Considering they are most likely on the Chinese side of social media, there's a possibility of the user not knowing US users archived the entire forum, which could be a factor as to why one of the workers didn't think anything of it. And the workers in these photos are potentially the people who created the infamous Dissected-Chan photos, and of course never used them when press asked for images of their articles. Yes, this is all in the air, because this truly has never been investigated or much further looked into, thanks to the timeline being so old and there is very little evidence. But this article being posted in 2018, I feel is something that should have been looked into just a little more. The odds of the press workers using an image like Dissected-Chan and not using what is actually going on in the Von Hagen's establishment seems very off, considering they were completely okay using all these other photos for the article that backtrace to nothing, meaning these are original photos from these workers that happen to work at Von Hagen's in China. And maybe that's just why all these Dissected-Chan photos come from a morgue-like place and hard to find origin, because it was likely from an actual organization that doesn't want to ruin their image of the workspace or an employee to get fired. But of course, that's my own conclusion. I guess, my own conspiracy. Thank you to my amazing channel members for being here once again on the board for their name to be seen. If you would like to support, please join the membership or my Patreon. Your name will also be on the board. Have an amazing day or night. Thank you.